Hey, what's up, guys? I'm glad you've made it this far. Now we're at the next training, and in this particular training, I decided to just do it right here, live in living color, at my office, with people in the background. Now I want to talk to you about how to organize your thoughts to create the chapters in your book. Okay? Now, I have a couple assumptions here. The first assumption is that you are writing a book that's going to help someone accomplish something, or you are writing a book based on your experience that people can learn from, or it's a nonfiction book, right? So either it's positioning you as an expert, or it's sharing stories, or something like that. This doesn't work so well for fiction books that are made up about characters, okay? All right, so how do we organize our thoughts so that we can create chapters? The biggest problem that people have with organizing their thoughts is that when you get started, you have so many ideas that you want to communicate, especially if you're an expert at what you do. The thoughts literally just don't stop coming. So the challenge is, how do we organize that and then communicate it to readers in such a way that they can take that information, apply it to their business, or to whatever it is that you want to teach them, and still be successful. Okay, so that's the challenge that most people have. So I want to take you through that process so that you no longer have to struggle with that. So by the time you finish this video, you should understand how to structure your thoughts so that you can succinctly communicate a message to your readers, okay? All right, so the first thing I want you to do is you're going to start the old school analog way, okay? And what does that mean when I say old school analog way? That means you're going to grab a notebook, you're going to pull out your notebook, and you're going to get a pen, which is something that we used to use back in my old school days of writing. I know everything is typed now, but you're going to pull out a pen, and you're just going to write this down, okay? So I want you to, on a piece of paper in your notebook or journal or whatever you have, I want you to write down 15 to 18 things that you want to communicate to your reader so that they get the point of your book, okay? So if you're doing something sequential, where you have to do step 1, then step 2, I want you to see if you can break it down into 18 different steps, okay? If you're doing something that's not sequential and you're just sharing stories like how to deal with coworkers that get on your nerves, then just try to come up with 18 different ways on how to do that. The reason I chose 18 is because it's going to stretch you a little bit, and that's what I want to do. I want to stretch you, because if you can come up with 18, then that means that'll give you some room to kind of chop it up, okay? Because you're probably going to end up in your final version of your book with between 10 and 12, okay? Most people do 10 to 12 chapters for a book, especially when it's your first one, okay? You can actually go as little as 6 or 7, but I think 10 to 12 is a nice, good start. Okay, so that's it. First thing you're going to do is you're going to write down the 18 things that you want to communicate to your reader. Then I want you to take those 18 things and I want you to look at each one of those things. And as you look at those different things, I want you to say this in your head. In this chapter, I want to communicate blank to my reader, okay? In this chapter, I want to communicate blank to my reader. The blank is where you're going to substitute whatever your point is for that particular chapter. So for example, if I'm teaching someone how to drive a car, and chapter 1 is sit firmly in your seat with, let's just say sit firmly in your seat. I think that's a good enough example, okay? So I would write, in this chapter, which is chapter 1, in chapter 1, I want to communicate how to properly sit in the passenger. I want to properly communicate how to sit in the driver's side of your car to my reader, right? Now, there should be a few steps that it takes to make that happen. So, under the chapter, I want you to write, you're going to answer this question. What are 3 to 5 things that my reader needs to do in order to reach the goal of sitting in their seat? Okay? So if sitting, how's it going? If sitting in a seat is the goal, then you want to write 3 to 5 steps to accomplish that. Okay? So the first thing you want to do is you want to write the 18 things or so, 15 to 18 things that you want to communicate in the overall book. Then under each chapter in the book, you're going to write down 3 to 5 things that the reader has to do to accomplish the goal of that chapter. Okay? It's very simple. Now, here's what I also want you to do. In the beginning of that, you're going to have to write an introduction to who you are. Okay? So, actually, I'm going to do a separate training on writing your introduction, and then you're going to write your closing, okay? So, for now, because I don't want to overwhelm you, I want you to focus on writing your chapters, and then writing the 3 to 5 things that the reader has to understand in order for that chapter to be true to them, or so that they reach the goal of that particular chapter. All right? If you have any questions, here's what I want you to do. I am at AJ Joyner on Instagram, so you can leave me a message over there and DM me. But also now I want everyone who has any kind of question, I want you to send me an email I want you to send it to my project manager, Katrina. It's Katrina, Katrina, at anthonyjoyner.com. And I want you to ask her, can you book a 20-minute call with me so I can talk you through the process of your book, okay? So it's Katrina at anthonyjoyner.com, and I want you to book a 20-minute call so we can talk through the process of your book. Is that fair? All right. Hope you all enjoyed this. I want to see those outlines. Tag me, take a picture while you're doing it. DM me on Instagram and let me see what it looks like. Peace.